Like in 2017, I almost wanted to do like a resolutions thing.
Yeah.
I'd be like, in 2017, we resolved to be more positive about video games and all like that. And then I just decided like, no, in 2017, we probably resolved to be more dicks.
Yeah. Always more dicks. Every time I'm thinking about what am I going to do today, I'm always thinking more dicks myself. What about you? How do you feel about dicks? No, my resolution for 2017 is to stop being a cheap ass and actually like buy stuff as it comes out. Because like I've always been the guy that's like, oh man, the new Batman's coming out. I can't wait to play that next year.
Broke gamers.
Broke gamers. Oh.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Super Magical Podcast, a show where we take a sincere, sarcastic, and spicy look at the world of video games, TV, music, movies, and more. Joining me this week, as he does in the studio, is Hoover. How are you, mate?
Doing quite well, sir.
Yeah.
Brand new year. First die roll, 3d6s, got 3 5s. It ain't perfect, but it's pretty damn good.
I think that describes this podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. On this week's show, we're going to take a look at the games that we're most looking forward on 2017. We're going to talk about the news that broke while we were on holiday break. And we'll take a look at the dumpster fire that was Super Mario Run. And we'll take your questions here at the end of the show. Did you have well, first off, let's go. Did you have a good holiday?
I sure did. I got an assortment of nerd goodies. Like I get nerdy about things that maybe aren't nerdy or maybe that aren't like classically nerdy. I got a fountain pen and refills. So now I'm wearing a monocle around everywhere and signing all kinds of writs.
And you're wearing a black like faux turtleneck today.
I'm very Steve Jobs.
You're very
today.
Steve Jobs today.
I got a pocket watch from Stryker. Look at this dude. I am hipster as fuck right now, man. Is
that a pocket watch with the Zelda on it?
Yeah, man.
Fucking hell, that's
right?
Beautiful.
Oh, dude.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
He gave it to me. I was like, you trying to get your dick sucked right now? Is that what you want?
Well, he did come on and have a really good fun time on the Star Wars spoiler cast. So.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe he's getting a line to be the third guy on the podcast every week.
Stryker's my boy.
Yeah. Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
That's
How
good.
about you? What'd you got going on?
I do a lot of the nerdy stuff. I've took the entire holiday from the last podcast that we did to now to completely switch over to PC, which is very nerdy for me kind of thing.
Beautiful, by the way.
It is kind of beautiful. I actually have a studio that I feel like I can just sit down and like do stuff in. So
welcome to the master race.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
baby.
It's not just for trying to play Steam games. Got to do a little bit of gaming. Getting back into GTA 5 this time. Nothing huge, but
very nice. Very
nice. A little bit of
nice.
fun there. I know you hate GTA 5, but that's okay. I like it.
It's totally an irrational hate, though.
so much salt.
For people that don't understand, last time I played it was right after the that Tron bike update.
Oh yeah,
that they released, and after about like 15 minutes of just getting fucked on one of those little mini games, I was like, "That's it. I'm uninstalling it.
Yeah.
I can't have fun with it." Like. I'm sitting here and there's no reason it shouldn't be fun. Like it's totally enjoyable. It all works, but for whatever reason, I was just like, Joe was probably like, I think I texted Joe and I was like, I just got to uninstall it because, it's just getting me really upset. And I expected him to be like, just give it a little time. And he was like, yeah, maybe you should.
When he knows you better than you, like, just like, yeah, you should. You really should. All right, so let's start off with a little bit of news. While we were on break, a few things happened. One of the lead engineers for Oculus decided to go and get himself arrested.
Say what?
Dov Katz, he's the head of computer vision and machine learning at the Facebook-owned Oculus, was charged in neighboring King County with attempting to commercial sexual favors from an underage girl.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Unfortunately, the underage girl happened to be a off-duty or undercover police officer.
Right. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I was going to make an adorable joke about his name, Dolph Katz, but
nope.
Fuck that,
this
dude.
This is the hard news you tune into this podcast
damn.
for.
That is some hard...
Yeah.
Ugh.
I had to bring it up because it was in our backyard, and it's just like it broke like the day after we recorded the last podcast, I think, and it was just
Damn.
like, holy shit.
That's pretty fucking heavy.
Yeah. So if you see a job listing for a new head of, that's it right there.
Ugh, leave that garbage in 2016.
Yeah, thankfully. In other sort of like not so great news, Crytek, which we kind of like Crytek. We like all of their stuff, that, especially their in-game engine, is actually pretty good. They are closing 5 studios to focus on quote-unquote premium IPs and the Cry engine. I don't quite know what the premium IPs are supposed to be. That's
kind of curious. Wasn't Crisis, that was actually made as originally that was made as a demo for the Crytek engine, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Are they still doing those, or is that like what they're talking about? Like, no, we're done. Like, are they going to focus on other people's shit, or?
I don't know. That's sort of they're being a little mum on everything right now.
A little cryptic
from the Crytek. But in a press release, they described it as part of the company efforts to like refocus its core strengths. The Cry engine is really good. If not, back in the day, it used to be really taxing. It was a lot of jokes about melting your graphics card and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
But it's turned into a really good, really good engine to be using. And so it sucks that a lot of the people that have been working on some of their properties are now looking for a new job right around the holidays. But I think they're actually going to be all better for it, because if a studio is struggling like that, then, you got a new injection of talent out there in the world, which usually leads to a lot of great indie games. Like some of those people will end up again back at major studios because they're very talented folks that are working there at Crytek. But then we always end up getting 1 or 2 really good like indie gems out of this kind of thing. So
thank God, by the way, like I feel like we've gotten some really good stuff off of people that are just, they've either been rejected by larger companies, like they've just been like, we don't need you anymore, and they just get canned, and then they're like, we'll build our own game, and they'll go put together some beautiful piece of work. I mean, and I love indie games.
Yeah.
So
if there's one thing to be said, exactly. If there's one thing to be said about trying to take a positive from an unfortunate story like that, it is that there is going to probably be a little bit of explosion of creativity, and that's always a good thing.
Definitely.
Next up on our news is the first 6 Mega Man games are coming to iOS. They're supposed to come to Android as well, but they're coming to iOS, I think, first.
Well, there's other things that were supposed to have come to Android that didn't come to Android, but it sounded like that might be a good thing. No, I'm kind of curious how exactly it's going to perform on a touchscreen kind of device, because I mean, I don't know, a lot of those games are so heavy on like mashing the hell out of a controller.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to snap my phone in half, and I need like that physical feedback of a controller in order to be able to be successful at those kinds of games. I've tried multiple times to play stuff like Doom and whatnot, like way back in the day. I remember trying to play Doom on a touchscreen, and I just kept on sliding my thumb off the screen and then just getting wrecked.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like, we talked about this when we were going through the NAS Classic. Like that, there's a muscle memory there of holding that particular controller. And
you jumped straight into that. You sat down, and you're like, there it is, and just wrecked that first boss.
Well, and it's one of those things where like, I don't know, we're getting back again to the world of like, all right, we're making ports again. And it's like, if you've got a PC or even a Mac now, I mean, there's a lot of emulators on a Mac. I'm not saying it's great to steal from Capcom, but like these people have probably been playing it for years. Load it up on your phone, try to run through a few levels. But as we learned with like Super Mario Go, which we'll talk about in depth a little bit more later, it doesn't always work when you need that haptic feedback a little bit, even just a physical button.
Right.
And there's a lot of muscle memory that comes along with, speed running Mega Man. So I don't know. I'm not looking forward to this, but I will say in the good portion of this, they are only about $199, which I will try that, and we may, like, when they come out, they're supposed to come out later this month, basically, and when they come out, I'll pay $199 to try it.
Oh yeah, $199 isn't so bad.
Yeah. When Final Fantasy showed up and it was like $20 or $30 in the iOS, I was just like, nope. As much as I love the Final Fantasy series, I'm not paying that much for a mobile game. even if it can emulate exactly.
No, yeah, definitely. I got $10 store credit from Project Fi, and I was super pumped. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get like something fancy, something high end, and I was like, oh, Final Fantasy. Let's go for Final Fantasy at $10. Still totally out of my price range. Like all this stuff was on sale, and it was like it's on sale for $12.99.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm like, oh God.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll just stick to Candy Crush.
Well, and the fun thing about that is that, in the long run, you're going to spend more than the $10 on Candy Crush if you pay for all the microtransactions and all that shit. Or Pokemon Go or whatever. There's a lot of that kind of stuff that's in there. So.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing that I got over the holidays is I got that credit, spent $5 on it to get the entire Infinity series,
nice.
Marvel Infinity series.
Very
it was on
nice.
sale.
All right.
Yeah, man. Super pumped about that.
I like that.
Yeah,
I've
been chipping away through that, and pretty different from what they had to lay out in the MCU. Obviously, I knew that before I started reading the book, but God, still super cool. Getting me even more pumped for all the movies that are coming out, the movies that have already been out, and the movies that are coming.
Yeah. I just saw Doctor Strange the other day, by the way.
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange.
So good.
It was a great movie.
Tripping all kinds of balls of that movie, Doctor Strange was.
I walked out of that movie. There's only a few movies that I really feel like I had alternative experiences with and seen it in 3D and stuff.
Right.
That was one of those that I just wish I had went in prepared with a set of 3D glasses and libations enough to like really experience that movie.
Oh yeah.
It kind of makes me mad that 3D TV will never take off in the home. Because that'll be like the one that I would just like, I want to get centered before I go and lay down music, and that's the one I want to play.
Oh yeah, dude, that whole movie, it got me like it opened up new doors in my mind to the possibilities of the MCU.
Yeah,
and if nothing else, I almost kind of wish it had been just a little bit trippier. But I like the idea that in the next Doctor Strange movie, in Thor Ragnarok, which I think that came out this week, that Doctor Strange was confirmed for Thor Ragnarok.
Well, if you watched both of the post-credit trailers, like it was like, oh, well, okay, now it's been out long enough they can actually say it.
Right? Yeah, it was pretty well laid out there. But I just love the idea of him introducing some trippy, like mind-bendy kind of, just really warping reality kind of situations instead of just like, I punch things real hard,
Yeah, the second Thor movie was probably one of the worst ones they had in the series.
Yeah, it wasn't terribly exciting.
Which is kind of sad because Christopher Eccleston was the main baddie in that one.
Yeah. Well, I've heard things about him. Like I want to love all my doctors, but I've heard things that he's just like I'm too busy to deal with you right now. Like,
But Chris, you're on the only movie you've been on in like 4 years. I'm still too busy.
No, I got really excited, and then I realized he was going to be under 10 pounds of makeup, so you wouldn't be able to see him anyway.
Right.
I was like, oh,
yeah.
well, all right.
All right, our final piece of news for this podcast. We're going to take a sharp left onto Nintendo Corner.
Mm-hmm. We need to really pin down a name for our Nintendo segments.
So, right after we recorded the last podcast, the patents for the Nintendo Switch were made public from the patent office. And a lot of the patents didn't really surprise anybody about what sort of came up. But one of which that is of note is the fact that they are trying to patent a set of goggles that you can just slide the Switch into. Much like you would have any other VR headset, much like the Samsung Gear or whatever, you can just put the phone in and it does virtual reality for you. Mm-hmm. They've patented a way to slide the Switch into a set of goggles to then have VR, which then raises the question about the Joy-Con controllers or whatever like that, or,
you have to keep them attached to the sides of your head.
That would be hilarious. You just walk around like this the whole time, like you're like freaking out, like,
beep boop, I'm a robot.
But it's like, they've long sort of been rumored to have like position tracking and act more like a Wii controller.
Right.
So now with the advent of VR as a possibility for the Switch too, it's I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, now you could be like, are you then literally like wireless VR
Ooh.
with, because in the patent drawings at least, it doesn't show anything about a wire. Which we know the Switch is handheld anyway, so that makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense.
But for all the things like I think in our first show we talked about like a wireless battery set you could have for VR for like the Vive, I think it was.
Yeah, it's like $200.
It was like
on top of the Vive's $800.
Exactly. And so like what would happen if you just, maybe it's a $50 peripheral for the set of goggles. Maybe it's even cheaper than that. That would be great. That you could just slide the Switch and, and it's like a toaster. It like top loads in.
Right.
And then you've already got the Joy-Con controller because they come with it. Like, imagine the possibilities right there.
My only concern is how big is the tablet portion of the Switch? Like, how big is that thing? I could have sworn it was like 7 inches. Like, that sounds huge to be sticking onto the front of my face.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be it's big. I think it's a 7-inch tablet. Yeah.
That sounds a little unwieldy.
Yeah.
Like, I imagine strapping that to like a 9-year-old or something like that, and they just immediately topple face forward. It's so realistic.
Well, but I mean, it's interesting because like you've got the Switch and you've got the possibility for VR with motion controllers built in,
Right.
and the ability to change the clock speed when you plug it into the main unit to run faster. Now, I still don't know if we have if we know if it's going to be 720p or 1080p or what. I don't know if that's been confirmed yet. If it has, you guys let us know in the comments. And so like you've got all of these things that are now coming. Like this is maybe one of the most versatile gaming consoles of a generation of ever, maybe. I don't know.
That's what I love about Nintendo is they seem to be thinking outside of the box and just like, let's try this, let's do that, let's go for this. And just, every once in a while, one of those things stick, and it's a pretty cool idea. It seems like the Wii U was a half step to this, but they were like, this is obviously not what we were aiming for, so let's just push it a little bit further. What if you don't have to even be anywhere near the console? What if this? What if that? So on and so forth. And we got some really cool ideas so far. Like, I'm really digging the idea of this VR thing. I hope the console has enough power to be able to really support a good VR experience.
Yeah.
Because I know it's a really intense kind of situation, and having a screen that close to you, like, it's got to be a really high resolution as well in order for it not to have that screen door kind of effect. So that's a concern in my book.
Yeah. I got a little bit of breaking news that Pete just sent to us.
Yeah? Right, real time?
Real time.
Real time. Hit it.
CNN, our favorite crappy news outlet,
God.
Apparently was caught putting the Fallout computer terminal in one of their videos about Russian hacking. And it's there. We've got some screenshots. He sent it to us from Kotaku, so we'll give credit where credit's due on that.
Jesus Christ.
Ethan Gotch, I believe, is his last name. I'm sorry if I pronounce it wrong, dude. But yeah, apparently they showed one of the. I'll just show you the GIF while we're talking about it. But yeah, it is the fucking computer terminal from Fallout.
God, it's like nobody. They do less fact checking than us, and we literally sit here and go ticka 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 ticka.
Yeah,
and then we sit here and we talk like we speculate on shit like. And at least we pull up other articles and shit like that. Like we Google stuff as we're talking or right before the show or whatever. These motherfuckers are just like, hey,
nobody will notice. And it's like, no, we will. We will.
The whole goddamn world did. Damn it, CNN. God damn it.
All right. So games that we played over the holidays, I mentioned earlier, got back into a little bit of GTA 5 and stuff like that. I've just been kind of catching up and building out my studio. But one game that way I had to review from 2016 because it was such a big kind of thing. We mentioned it before on the podcast, but we hadn't had a chance to get our hands on it. Was Super Mario Go.
Yeah.
And being the man with the iOS phone, out of the two of us, it was up to me to have to bite the bullet on that game.
I was ready to buy it until I saw that it's not coming out until like February or something on Android.
It is. And so here's my review. Don't buy it.
Really?
Don't buy it. It's not worth the $10. It really isn't.
Nintendo, why you got to do this to me? I was so ready.
So here's the thing about it. The game is an hour long if you go straight through it. If you are not trying to actually do any of the challenges or anything like that, if you are literally speed running through the game and just trying to make it through the levels, because the levels design it's Mario,
right?
And it is a shorter version of Mario because obviously you only have a one button control scheme to try to do it, and so the whole point of the game is that you are going through and trying to beat your score the whole time.
Right.
It is as old school arcadey as you can get. Is all I'm trying to do is get the most coins. The problem is with the constant online connection, if you and I were both playing, it would automatically pit you against me and vice versa and all that kind of stuff. So the whole game boils down to how many of these toad things you can get more than your friends. And that's it. There's there's a standard challenge of trying to get through the level and get some coins and stuff like that, but like you are literally only, the whole game boils down to multiplayer. There's no add-on packs. There's not it's not even that Angry Birds came out and it was what, $1.99, $4.99 or something like that, and there was a lot of levels that were super challenging, and trying to 3-star every level became its own mini game a little bit, right? Like you could go through all of Angry Birds and just keep going, or you could try to go through and get 3 stars on everything. I think that average time I've heard from people running it, and it took me an hour. I speed run Mario, it's cool, and I know that I was going to kind of go through things quickly, but from what other things that I've heard from other players, it's about the same time. It only takes about an hour 15 tops to get through the entire game. I breezed through the first 4 demo levels in 10 minutes. Not even that.
That is absolutely terrible.
Yeah, they're very, very quick levels. Some of them are well designed though, and they can be fun, but the enjoyment doesn't take you that long to get through. And then then it's on you to kind of create your own story. Then it's about you trying to get every possible coin, and every possible special little item and stuff like that. Like there's no extra kind of thing to kind of get through. And that's super disappointing because it could be fun. It could have been a thing where, again, if it was $2.99 and you just paid $1 for, extra worlds and stuff like that later on as more got released and stuff like that, man, I'd be addicted all day long.
Oh, yeah.
But with a $10 price tag and with a constant, always on connection, I cannot abide that.
No,
it just will not work.
No, that sounds absolutely terrible. I can see some real potential in them kind of breeding it with Mario Maker, and people being able to expand indefinitely off of it. Like that could be really cool. But it's sounding like you just open it up, you start playing, and then it's over. Yeah, and then the end. Like the idea of going back through and getting all the little collectibles and doing all these little things, this and that and whatnot. That's one of the reasons why Assassin's Creed, even having Assassin's Creed shit tattooed on my body, has fallen off the map for me, is because they relied so heavily on their gameplay being like, hey, go hit up all these collectibles. Like, that's not a fucking game, man. Like, that's that's so empty. Like, I could take any old game and just sprinkle it with a bunch of shit you're supposed to pick up and be like, there's 600 hours of content because all this shit is sprinkled all over the map. That doesn't really mean anything to me, man. Like, you got to actually put some maps together and whatnot. That sucks. Thank you for saving me $10. Damn.
Well, and it is one of those things to say that once people got their hands on Super Mario Run, it didn't it was just one of those things where people, once enough of us figured it out, it was like you could just see the shares drop. Like I think one firm says that Super Mario Run was downloaded more than Pokemon Go because Mario's name, and it was
Right.
supposed to be easier. They actually put a lot of dollars behind it. They had a big presentation at Apple's worldwide, I think it was Worldwide Developer Conference or something like that.
Yeah, they even had it on
one of the things.
Late Night with Jimmy Fallon. I mean, like the bit that he played, I was like, oh fuck yeah, that looks like that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no. No, it's like I said, it is not for hardcore folks. It's not even. I mean, it's for those kind of people who want to challenge their friends, and it's all this kind of stuff. Which is sort of. It's the unfortunate thing about mobile gaming is that everything is about challenging your friends.
right.
All the Clash of Clans and Mobile Strike and blah 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 blah, and it's all like, well, get your friends involved, and it's all. It is unfortunate social media crap.
Is the
for
thumbnail,
lack of a better word.
Is the thumbnail of the game like a close up of Mario screaming? Rah! That face. You don't have to see it. You know what I'm talking about. If I go, rah! That's the thumbnail.
No, I totally get it.
Damn.
Yeah, it got like, it's got like a Metacritic score of like 70 something out of 100, which is not terrible. But it's also not great. Its simplicity is what kills it in the end. And unfortunately it just doesn't get there not for a $10 price tag, at least.
No, not from the sounds of it. I mean, I may, if it was still like $2, I might have still given it a try, but
yeah, no. If it was $2, I wouldn't complain. It's like, all right, I'm going to make it through it, and that's my $2 worth of enjoyment out of this. So, I think it was what is it? Apptopia is saying that it was downloaded 2.85 million times on the day of release on iOS alone. So it's got a lot of weight behind it, but in the long run, it's just not worth it. So.
yeah.
Save you $10. Go find something else. We'll Phil Show will review something else. So
I actually downloaded because it was on sale. Let's see, Mechanarium.
Oh, okay. There you go.
For $1.
There you go.
And goddamn, it's pretty cool. I'm like 3 levels in, but still.
Yeah, it's a fun game, right?
Definitely, yeah. So it's full price, or $1.99. Its full price is $10.
Yeah.
I would recommend spending $10 on it. So
yeah,
there you go. There's your alternate.
It's a payment reward system is what it comes down to. So, so in other games that we are looking forward to in 2017, we got a long list of these guys.
Yes.
Some of which we have like highlighted and italicized and highlighted again and bolded and all that kind of stuff. Where do you want to start with this list?
So yeah, it's a pretty ridiculous list. And it's easy to get a lot of this kind of mixed up. Honestly, I would just bang through it until we get to the bold.
Okay.
Unless you see something that you really want to.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of. We've talked a little bit about BattleTech. I've backed their Kickstarter in all full disclosure. I played it. At PAX, we got the treatment to go back and take a look at it. I'm very excited about that game. Nice, tactical, polished. They're moving forward with that. I think it's coming out in Q1 of 2017. Love that game because it's giant robots fighting.
Right.
You will never go wrong with giant robots fighting.
You and Joe will probably sink collective hours into that.
Yeah.
In which no man
long.
has ever reached. Yeah.
Brawlhalla. That's going to be fucking so
motherfucking holla. Have you played Brawlhalla?
No, I haven't. That is one I have to catch up on.
It is pure, refined, unfiltered salt. It is so delicious. I had to stop playing it for a little while because they changed this mechanic in like the competitive mode. Well, it's in every part of it, but it's rampant in the competitive modes. You can actually negate your jump and pull like a ground move in the air. So people would like boot me off the side of the stage, and then like they would jump out after me, and then they would do one of their like sweeping ground moves, so there was nowhere I could fall or dash or escape to. And I was just like, I'm just not on that level, man. But
so is this game's already out though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been out since like last year. It's basically Super Smash Brothers for PC.
It does look like Super Smash Brothers for PC, and
it's free to play. You can pick it up and play it right now. And since they came out last year, they've released a new hero every month. And it's kind of like League of Legends. The heroes are on rotation unless you buy it, and then everything is unlocked all the time. and then you just have to pay for cosmetics.
How much does it cost? How much does it cost normally?
It's full price for the full character unlock is like $25 or something.
That seems like a really good price for this kind of game.
It's so good, and you know you don't even miss it. You don't even miss it if you really want to sit there and you want to grind it. You get like an in-game currency that you can use to permanently unlock your favorite characters. So when they fall out of rotation, you got them all the time.
You got them all the time.
So you don't even have to spend the $25 to dig on it.
How many people from the Super Magical team have this? Because this is a video.
Everybody.
All right, I'm gonna download it.
So
we can do a video.
Let me give you a heads up on how this video is gonna go. We're all gonna be like, let's play some Brawlhalla. Let's do some shots. Let's get this going. And then we're gonna get into it, and all you're gonna hear is just like That's all that you're gonna hear the whole time, and then somebody's gonna be like, God damn it! This fucking game! I hate it! Why are we doing this?
I'm okay with that though, because that'll be fun. That'll be fun.
Every time. We tried to record it like 3 or 4 times, and then we all just realized we're sitting there just grunting at each other.
The next one that we're kind of looking forward on the list is a remake, but it's not a remake, but it's a HD upgrade, I guess. The Crash Bandicoot trilogy.
Yeah, HD remaster, Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy for PS4. I think that's going to be awesome. I hope they don't try to do anything crazy with it, and they just
I don't think they are. They showed a video a little while back. It might have been during the PlayStation Experience that we were covering. Look it up in there, but it shows like they really just went through and put a lot of window dressing on it. It looks like the same exact game, but it just looks nicer.
Yeah,
which is kind of cool.
As long as they didn't touch any of the physics and like change any of the mechanics, anything like that. Yeah. It's just pretty. Like those games were so good, man.
The in-game engine will probably be updated a little bit, but hopefully it'll just polish it and just smooth it out a little bit because you'll have more polygons and pixels there instead of. The one for PlayStation was a little bit choppy, but you got used to it. It's fine.
Right. Cuphead.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you've been seeing this. I've been tracking this.
I love Cuphead.
Since they first were like, "Hey, we're gonna start making this game, Cuphead," and they released some, just like some. It wasn't screens; it was concept art. They released their concept art. I was like, "That is adorable," and they're like, "Yeah, it's gonna be like an old school, Bugs Bunny, original Bugs Bunny,
it's the original
looking
1940s style." Yeah. In that kind of thing, all black and white and everything. I think there are some color aspects.
Yeah, but I think it starts in black and white, hand animated. Every bit of it. It's platformer meets like a Galaga Contra kind of look.
Which is also why it's taken forever and a day to get out because they're hand animating all of the sprites.
Nothing is like, oh, we're just gonna generate. No, some dude's sitting down and he's inking every bit of it. She's painting every bit of it. And it looks gorgeous every little bit. If you look up Cuphead, there's been a few teasers and trailers that come out, and it looks
some gameplay stuff too, which is really good.
Yeah, it all looks really, and it's all like really bouncy and all that kind of stuff. It's really spot on 1940s animation. I know people who don't give two shits about video games that are like, I want to play Cuphead.
Yeah.
Because they're all about that kind of that style and that look, and this is whenever I was in college around the whole Disney crowd and whatnot. Because I was down in Orlando, real close to that campus, so you have a lot of super fans that are down there, and they're like, we don't play video games, but we'll play Cuphead because that looks fantastic.
Yeah. A couple of extra ones. Days Gone. I've never liked zombie games. That is the one trailer that makes me go, oh hell no. It looks like a little bit more realistic zombie game though, because of like at least in the gameplay that's been going through so far is that guy is all about himself. Right. It is a zombie survival game in like the most basic kind of like understanding.
Remind me, was this the one with the trailer where they had like 300 zombies on screen rushing the dude at once? Yeah. That
was freaky as shit.
No joke, dude. That looked like, how are you even going to get out of that? That alone is like, I need that to happen. I need to figure out what happens whenever I fuck it up. Probably get eaten.
Yeah.
But is there some sort of crazy cutscene? I don't know. Because it sure seems like I'm not getting out of that.
Well, and it's one of those things where it's not Dead Rising, so I'm not going to put on gigantic robot hands with tasers on them and beat my way out of it. So,
No, I'm sure that's kind of the point, though. Like, it seems like survival horror, and it's genuinely like
It's
shoot
good on the
'em.
horror.
Oh yeah, like you can shoot them, slow them down, but you don't have enough bullets to make it through a horde of 300 zombies that are all on screen. By the way, they're pouring out of windows, and Jesus Christ, just some insanity.
Well, let's keep in the horror theme. Friday the 13th, the game.
Oh, it looks so cheesy and campy.
It looks so cheesy and campy, but it looks really good though.
Right?
It looks really. Adam Sessler, who is a hero of mine in like games journalism and reporting and stuff like that, I think is working on that team now.
Really?
And I've seen some things that he's put out there on Twitter about it, and I'm like, man, you chose right. Like, if you were going to get behind a game team and stuff like that right now, like, you chose really, really well. It just looks campy. It looks like an old school slasher flick, and I'm cool with that. Like, it just could be fun in the end of it.
Yeah, no, I was watching it, and it was like, again, it's another one that you just need to look up trailers, but like, you can hear the stomping down the hallway, and the person like crawls under the bed.
Yeah,
and they're like, you can hear the breathing, like, and he comes by, knocks the door in, and pulls her out from underneath the bed, and she's like, "Oh God, no!" And then splash across the screen, Friday the 13th.
Yep.
And I was like, "Oh my God, they are totally self-aware. They're not like trying to make this uber scary, like it's Friday the 13th. They know it's campy horror. Like, it's going to be tense just by the nature of the game. You're trying to get away from the guy, but they're not like trying to be like, who's the bad guy of Friday the 13th? Motherfucker, we know what's going on. And they do too. Thank God.
It's one of those games that, and maybe we'll do this for the channel, but it's one of those games that you and I'll sit down and laugh at the same. We'll scream like little girls at the jump scares.
Oh yeah.
But we'll also continue to be really, really fascinated by the whole thing because like we know what's up.
Oh yeah.
And it's one of those flicks that you're just like, yeah, I like this.
Oh yeah.
This will be fun. And then, you're automatically into it because it's the game.
Well, we'll be sitting there making dick jokes, and I'll close the bathroom mirror, and he's going to be behind us and slap us on the ass, and we're both going to be like, ah, and then laugh as we get murdered.
Yep.
I'm ready for it, man. I'm ready to do it.
I want to talk a little bit about Fortnite, which is on our list. So this is one of those games where I love a lot of the art style and stuff like that. It's a little bit of that plastically, not claymation, but a little bit of the plastic kind of overlays. But I like the idea of the game as well too. This like where you're not fending off zombies at night. You're sort of fending off, I think it's demons. Well, maybe it is zombies. I don't know. It's like demons and zombies and like all of the stuff of the undead
monsters.
And stuff. Monsters, yeah. And it's done in kind of a cute way, but it still looks very tactical and fun.
Kind of a first person, or is it third person tower defense kind of situation? You build a base, right?
And then you build a base, and it's also first/third person. I think where you have to actually, you physically help defend the stuff along with the.
It looked very colorful.
Yeah.
Lots of like, not bright.
No, there are a lot of bright colors and stuff like that in this game.
Vivid colors, vivid blues and purples and yellows and like just everything that's on screen. It's not hyper realism, but it looks it still looks super cool. Donut County. Did you see Donut County?
No, educate me.
Pete, I think, is going to crap his pants over Donut County. Did you ever play Katamari?
Yes, I did.
Very Katamari. So you start out with a tiny hole in the ground, like a golf, like literally like you're playing golf, and you have like the hole, the cup, or what? I don't play golf, so I don't know. The hole in the ground, and you like start and you try to find things small enough that'll like drop into this little pit, and as everything drops in there, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And as you go through the trailer, eventually you're like shuffling through a city, and buildings are dropping into this pit.
Interesting.
So it just looks like a fun, like, super cute art style. Again, it's like low poly, bright colors. That same kind of.
It's almost got like a vector-ish kind of tint to it.
Yes, and it looks super adorable. It looks like something that I could sit down and play with the girls. Like, I got little ones, and they could easily enough be like, oh, we'll get that in there, or whatever. Very, like I said, very Katamari. It looks adorable.
That does look cool. I like that.
Dreadnought is another one on this list here, and Joe's already been playing that one. He's been in the alpha and the beta for that one, I think. But he's been going on forever about it. It's basically spaceship combat, like I think 5v5 or 6v6.
Yeah.
And you have kind of like Guns of Icarus style. You have a bunch of different ships and a bunch of different guns that you can outfit it with, and it's just like a tactical, just sort of 6v6 clash.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
him and Lance have been playing it, and they love the hell out of it. I actually just got into the beta, I believe.
Yeah.
Haven't gotten a chance to download it yet. Didn't
Well,
even tell
well,
Joe about it because I knew he'd crap his pants and be like, "You're getting on right now to do this."
Well, we'll do. You can do a review of that when you get back into the beta, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. I want to kind of go through a couple of them that we talked about on the show before. God of War, Legends of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, and Mass Effect Andromeda. We're obviously looking for it. Those are your big like AAA kind of titles.
Oh yeah.
We're looking forward to those. We'll review them here on the show. One that we haven't really kind of talked about, I think, is Horizon Zero Dawn. The idea intrigues me. I am a little bit like I've played Ark, Survival Evolved or whatever like that. It kind of feels a little bit in that kind of vein.
Yeah, it does.
Which I guess could be cool because Ark still isn't a fully released game, even though they've released DLC for it, which is kind of a weird sort of
super shitty of them. But that aside,
and it's it's just one of those kind of things that could be interesting. I think it's a PlayStation exclusive, right? Like it's put out by one of the studios.
I think Horizon Zero Dawn is going to be PlayStation exclusive, but I'm kind of on the fence about it with you. Like conceptually, it looks really fucking cool. I mean, like robot dinosaurs and spiders and wildlife in general, like that's just somehow gained sentience and pieced itself together and all that kind of jazz. But at the same time, it looks like there's a lot of crafting. There's a lot of open world kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't want it to fall into the same Assassin's Creed pit that I was bitching about earlier in the podcast, where it's like, look for all this stuff to build a thing, to do a thing.
Well, and in meaning that same way, right? Assassin's Creed, Ubisoft makes Far Cry, which is Assassin's Creed in the jungle, essentially, because without the parkour. You still have to climb the thing to unlock the map and get the thing to do the thing. There's just a lot of open world bullshit going on in a lot of those games. And I hope that this one doesn't sort of follow that sort of trend. The open world games have been trendy for a little while, so I'm hoping that this has got something a little bit more. Either there's a reason to explore, which some games like Final Fantasy 15 and stuff like that are okay with, or it's got a very tight story and that you're following that, to a good tight narrative. So. Yeah. A couple other ones that we've talked about a little bit on the show is Persona 5. Obviously, we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pick that up and play it just because Pete's losing it, and I've not played it before.
Yeah.
So I need to get in the loop at some point. So
it'll be a lot of fun.
Probably pick up Persona 5.
Resident Evil 7. We might shit our pants a little bit on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that too.
We talked about the latest Shovel Knight as well. We've actually talked about South Park: The Fractured But Whole. So, but some of the ones we haven't talked about yet is Yooka-Laylee.
Yes. Yooka-Laylee looks like an adorable platformer a la Crash Bandicoot.
Well, it's made by the original creator of Crash Bandicoot. And your boy
Shovel Knight
is gonna be in it. Yes.
Oh yeah. I don't know in what capacity, even if he's just an NPC, if they got Shovel Knight in there.
Yeah.
I'll have to throw some money their way. And I think they're coming out $40.
Yeah, it's not going to be a $60 title.
So I mean, I can totally dig that as well.
So here's one that I want to throw out that might be a little interesting too. Insomniac Games is making the next Spider-Man game, and we've talked to I'm sort of tired of Spider-Man. Although Homecoming, the movie looks really good.
It does.
But like they haven't had a good Spider-Man game in a very long time.
Yeah, they've had some. They had a couple that were really good back in what was that PlayStation 2 days, and then since then it's just kind of been like ho hum.
Yeah,
I think they had that one that was like kind of a zombie kind of game, I believe, for PS3. What is that? The like Spider-Man Darkness something like
that. It was forgettable.
It was okay.
Yeah,
it was about as close as you could get to a good Spider-Man game, but it still wasn't like oh yeah. This one actually, I don't want to get my hopes up, but it looks good, and Insomniac makes a good open world game.
They do, yeah.
That's story and narrative driven, and they really know how to make an enjoyable,, path for your character. I think maybe they'll be able to pull something together where they won't have a clunky city where you're just slamming it inside of buildings all the time and combat's boring and all that, because they've done good work before. So I'm hoping that they can do something about it.
Yeah.
One
that I don't know, and I'm sort of looking it up as we go, is I think Bloodborne 2 may come out this year.
Bloodborne 2.
From Software, I think, could do it.
Hopefully it doesn't follow the same path as Dark Souls and just end up being hard for the sake of being hard.
Yeah. No, well, see, Bloodborne...
We have to wait for the third one for it to be worth the shit.
Well, and so Souls games... I think Dark Souls 3 took a lot from Bloodborne's ability to be a little bit quicker pacing and stuff like that, which you're learning now because you're playing Dark Souls 3.
Yeah, I slipped up and I was like, I'm just going to turn it on and see how it plays. And now I'm stuck. I'm totally sucked into it. And you're right. The pacing from Dark Souls 1 jumping straight into Dark Souls 3 is woo.
Yeah.
I'm moving a lot faster. The combat's happening a lot faster. It's really kind of catching me off guard because I'm expecting these things to sort of slug their ass towards me and just be like, I'm going to come hit you. And then this thing just comes barreling across the way to slice me in half. I'm like, oh shit. And I can block it in time. That's the thing, is they get to me and I'm like, oh, well, I'm dead. No, I can move out of the way this time. I'm not planted into the ground. Thank God.
Well, there's a lot of speculation about Bloodborne 2 and maybe even a Demon Souls 2, which is was the predecessor to Dark Souls, right. And so bringing it all kind of back around. I think that From Software has hit a really good, they've hit a really good kind of formula. I think they've refined it well with Dark Souls 3. I don't think they need to really go changing too much. They can just keep telling the story in those kind of worlds and be okay with it. So,
definitely.
So we'll see how it goes. I'm looking forward to that possibility.
Yeah, that sounds super cool.
I kind of want to go back and start another Dark Souls 3 run with a different type of character now, since you're playing it. So we can I can come invade your game and shit. And,
Yeah, I think I've cheaped out in that I was gonna play some sort of magic class or something along those lines, and I was just I'm really comfortable just swinging an axe. we'll just get back into
really
doing
satisfying about that.
Yeah, man. And instead of just sitting in the back and lobbing fireballs, I'm up in the shit, just stabbing the hell out of everybody, and I just feel brutal. I've conquered after I beat a boss, and
that's the beauty of that game, man.
I had to be within 3 fucking feet of this guy to hit him with this axe. Good Lord.
Yep. All right, so we could go on about a lot of the games. There's a ton more coming out in 2017, but that's sort of what we're looking forward to right now. And we'll kind of keep it updated as we go along.
Definitely.
But,
there's a bunch of platformers that are coming out that I think are going to be awesome. Fortnite is one of them. Man, like you said, we go
Fortnite's the.
Or, I'm sorry, not Fortnite. It's right next to Fortnite. Flint Hook.
Yeah, Flint Hook. Yeah,
there you go. Flint
there's
Hook.
There's
Fortnite. No,
you made the list for this one. You did the pre-pro. That's okay. There's a lot of indie games that'll be coming out too. I'm interested to see how PAX South comes up here in a couple weeks.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. So you want to do a couple of questions? We got some time for questions, right?
Yeah. Well, so I think we got 3 questions altogether. One of my friends actually asked 2 of them. One of them I didn't make onto the list, so I'll save that one for last and see if we want to just drop an answer and be good. But he asked a couple of the classics.
Okay.
First one being, if you could make a movie out of any game, what would it be? And who would your dream cast be for it?
That one's tough.
It's very tough. It's a very difficult thing to answer in general. And I'm going to lead off by saying a lot of times our video game movies end up being garbage because the way that we ingest a story in video games is being interactive with it.
Yeah.
So you become part of the story, and that's why you become emotionally attached to that story. So whenever you go see it in the theaters, a la Assassin's Creed, it ends up just not quite connecting with you the same way the video game did. Stryker went to go see Assassin's Creed. He was like, yeah, I mean, I guess it's not bad, but it's not really as exciting as Assassin's Creed is to me.
Right.
So right there, it's kind of a fundamentally flawed issue. And Joe, like whenever we posed this question earlier, because this is a question you kind of need to prepare for, we posed it in the chat, and Joe was immediately like, "No, that's bad. Video game movies are bad." We know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
idealistically, budget is no issue. Let's even say runtime is no issue, casting is no issue. Like, what would be your perfect video game movie?
So this is one that I'm going to take a little bit of an easy way out.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give a highlight to one of my favorite bands of all time, who I love them to death. The Proto Men. They have released an official music video, although it's 16 minutes long, so it's more like a short film.
Nice.
For their song "Light Up the Night." Now, if you know their story of Mega Man, which is essentially what it is, starting from Proto Man, going all the way through, Act 3, I assume Act 3 will close everything out. But they do a really great cyberpunk way of looking at it. And it's very, for me, sort of nostalgic because it feels a little bit like Blade Runner in some ways, not just in the fact that like they have an 80s sound to their rock and roll a little bit. And the people they have that starring in it are good. It's a well put together video, but it doesn't tell the entire story. So if I wanted to tell sort of a musical version of Mega Man, like if I took all of the music from the Proto Men and whatever they end up finishing Act 3 with, I would use that as the basis of making sort of the Mega Man musical. And I'd love to, if I ever got the chance, I would sit down and help write and direct that for it. Putting people like Tom Hiddleston would be Dr. Wily. Because how awesome would you think that would be? Like, because remember, this is not the over-the-top, like, Einstein-looking Dr. Wily. This guy looks like, he looks a little bit like the creeper Steve Jobs kind of thing. Like, he's very clean-shaven. He's very, he talks like the head of a tech company. Like, we are going to make a better world.
Nice.
And together, we are going to conquer all the problems that face mankind. Like, A, that's scary enough as it is because real life today, right?
Right.
And B, it just so works in the whole kind of like system of like, the allegory of like stepping up and taking action as people and not waiting for a hero to come save you. And so all of that kind of stuff, I'd use like Tom Hiddleston as Dr. Wily. Thomas Light could be, goodness, it could be a little bit of everybody. Who would be a good Thomas Light? Old, wise.
Old and wise.
Yeah.
There's a few old and wise that are a good way to go.
Wouldn't be Forrest Whitaker, I'll tell you that. We're not bringing Saw into this.
Oh shit! Why is this? I want Sam Elliott to be in more movies just so I can hear his voice.
That would be great. Yeah.
Beef. This was for dinner. That guy.
Sam. Well, and so that's sort of Sam Elliott would fit Thomas Light very well.
Yeah.
And so those two guys being the main one. Who could we have to play Mega Man though?
Oh man.
Because you got Mega Man and Program Man are the other two main characters for the men's side of it.
That's a good question. I'm really liking the kid that oh hell. I know his name, the kid that's playing Spider-Man right now.
I was thinking of that too.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name though.
He seems like he's got the face for it. Yeah, he's got a really like average Joe kind of name. Like you got some people that are like they're like 25 characters and no
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, he seems like a really cool cat. I bet he would
Yeah.
make a really fun Mega Man.
Yeah, that actually would be kind of good.
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah.
I like him a lot.
I could see Donald Glover being Joe. in that the wise kind of kid on the streets. I won't spoil the film. If you haven't seen the film, go to theprotomen.com and look at the film. It's actually fantastic. But I could see Donald Glover playing that kind of like headstrong, damn the man, I'm gonna do it kind of thing.
He's gonna be in some movies recently. That are coming up. Like he's been announced for some movies recently.
He's in Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I guess we're just gonna steal the cast from Spider-Man: Homecoming then. No,
I'll be okay with that. They've got a stellar cast, actually.
Yeah. He's been popping up here and there, and I'm really glad to see him doing work again. Like, didn't he release an album recently?
Oh God, Childish Gambino's got like one of the albums of last year, dude.
Yeah.
is fantastic.
Yeah, dude. He's awesome.
Yeah.
I love him. The old Dong Glover. Did you ever see that whole bit that he's
Yeah.
like, he used to have an email that was like Don Glover. It was just like Dong Glover.
He's got such a personality and a presence about him. It's
I love
amazing.
that guy. Love that guy.
All right, so thank you to Quaid, right?
Yes.
It's Quaid. Quaid, thank you for that question, dude. And then our second question is from Jake, and Jake asks, how do you think the passing of the late, great Carrie Fisher will impact the next Star Wars movie? She finished filming Episode 8, but do you think they had any plans sort of moving forward?
They most definitely had some plans moving forward. I don't know if you saw Disney collected on a $50 million insurance settlement on Carrie Fisher, meaning that she had a big enough role that they feel like $50 million is enough to be able to either recast, rewrite, or CGI her.
They will
the movie.
CGI the fuck out of her. You know this is coming.
It's really unfortunate. I hope Rogue One didn't set a standard for that. Like, we'll just CGI whoever the fuck we want into the movie. Like,
It does make me wonder how integral she was to the rest of the story. We know she's integral in 8.
Right.
She did all of her filming there. It makes me wonder how integral she is in 9. Mm-hmm. We speculate a little bit of this, I think, on the Star Wars spoiler cast that comes out right before this. So yeah, I don't know. It's I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
I genuinely hope that they can do a little bit of rewriting, like add some. I know Star Wars has got plenty of sadness, but like, you know, I feel like a combination of those things, right? Reshoot a couple things, rewrite a couple things, maybe CGI in a couple of shots that you don't have.
Yeah.
But make them wider shots. Like, don't do that close-up face that you did.
You hate that.
I just don't really dig it. And the thing is you can accomplish it and make it look right, but if you show it too much, it looks bad. And we just got too much of it in Rogue One, and I just don't want Carrie Fisher, the ghost of Carrie Fisher, to have a bunch of screen time and you know, just really throw me out of my zone when I'm watching Episode 9.
Okay. All right, so the question I have for this is, do you think they filmed a death scene for her that they can just insert in? Like, this is how she's supposed to die. We're going to get it done while we can, just in case. Because you know when Harrison Ford had the plane crash in the middle of Episode 7, those writers were like, fuck! Like,
yeah,
I don't know if they had shot that scene or not yet, but you know they had to have.
I don't know, because that's tenuous ground. Like, I feel like going to your star and being like, hey, we're gonna shoot your death scene early. Why? What do you have planned, Disney, one of the most powerful media companies on the planet? What are you doing?
Or, I mean, you know, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, I don't know how many people out there know how you make movies, but there's a lot of stuff that gets left literally what they call on the cutting room floor back in the day.
Right.
So, you know, there is a lot of those kind of things to be like, well, we're going to shoot a death scene. We don't know if we're going to actually put it in 8 or 9 because we're still working through the script.
Right.
Because the script goes through a million rewrites even on the set because there's a script supervisor. There's there's a guy named Pablo Hidalgo, I think is his name. He's like the Uber script boss at Lucasfilm that is keeping all 9 movies sort of making sense, and the Han Solo films and the Rogue Ones and the potential Boba Fett movie and all that kind of stuff, making sure that none of it like
the
crosses.
Keeper of the continuity.
Absolutely. And so there is a chance that they just went ahead and shot it and said, all right, we're either going to insert it in 8 or we're going to pull it out and we're going to insert that particular portion at 9 and really hit them at the beginning.
Yeah,
could be. I don't know.
There's a possibility that even in Episode 7, you know, they planned like instead of it being. Can I talk spoilers in Episode 7?
Spoiler alert. Good.
Spoiler alert. Harrison Ford's character dies. Han Solo dies. There's a very real possibility that maybe they wrote that Carrie Fisher is the one that was in that situation for some reason. Who knows? Because he got hurt on the set of that, right? Like maybe they did some shoots and they have an alternate area, everything where Carrie Fisher is the one that dies, and that's a motivator later in the movie. You know, like later in the trilogy. Are we going to keep calling these trilogies now that there's going to be 9 movies? The trilogy?
We'd have to look it up. Somebody tell us what 9 of something is. Octology.
That's 8.
That's 8.
Yeah.
What would be the 9?
Nineology.
That's like the German word, like no-ology. No. That was a terrible joke. I apologize to all my German friends out there.
All right. So the last question again, I don't have it in the notes.
Okay. It's going to be a surprise for me.
Yeah. Again, this could just give us a name and that's it.
Okay.
The final definitive answer. Goku versus Superman. Go.
Goku. Not even a fucking question. Goku.
Oh yeah. Goku. I agree. Yeah. I totally agree. Goku. But, Superman would just get fucked and then it would turn out that he's just in some sort of stasis or whatever.
And the red sun or some shit like that. And then he'd come back as Robo Superman.
And then Goku would have to fuck him again. And then he'd come back again as a being of pure energy. And then Goku would have to fuck him again. And then
he comes back more than Frieza does.
God damn. Chi-Chi would be like, would you stop fucking him? Stop fucking him. I'm really getting possessive now.
And on that note, you've been listening to the Super Magical Podcast. Big thanks to Benjamin Diamond, Mayhem Monkey, Josh Carter, and a million other people right now that I cannot name because I can't get into the damn YouTube account.
Oh, but we hit 100 and you all pushed together. We had a little bit of a push amongst our family members. We were like, hey, we're trying to get to 100, but we had ballers like Astrovex.
Yes, big thank you to Astrovex.
Give us a huge shout out on Twitter. And then we just had friends, our super friends. We got a few of you to share some stuff, and we went from sitting kind of stagnant for a little while to picking up like 25 subs in a day.
Yes.
And now
we've
pushed
got us over the 100 mark. We cannot thank you guys enough.
Because now we have our custom URL.
We do. It is youtube.com/supermagical.
Oh, yeah. Feels good.
We have a spoiler cast that will actually go up before this episode. So I hope you enjoyed our hour and a half of having almost the whole gang there talking about Star Wars. But you have to do something on the podcast on the video.
Oh, yeah.
You have to do that.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Because I believe I re-upped on my promise to eat some ghost pepper concentrate.
Yep. So we're gonna film that for you guys and have that as another little extra on the channel for you.
So what I need is something to pair that with. What do you all want me to play, read, or do? If you can hit us up on Twitter, YouTube, if you're watching this on YouTube.
Yeah, leave a comment on YouTube.
Yeah, wherever you feel like getting a hold of us, listen to the spin at the end. Mallo's got all of them.
Yeah.
Let us know what you want, and we'll take the coolest and we'll do it.
Yep. This is gonna be a lot of fun, and I will drink the bacon soda now.
And vodka, bacon soda
and vodka. I will do that while you are dying. And
I hope you do it just with a grimace on your face in the back, like you're in a Westworld saloon, just pouring shots of bacon soda and vodka and just throwing them back.
Yep. Okay. If you are listening to this and you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel and you haven't subscribed to us in iTunes, we are now in Stitcher. You please do subscribe and leave us a review, hopefully a 5-star review. And make sure you write something with the 5-star review so we know who left it so we can give you a shout out on the show. Links are in the show notes every week of how you can get a hold of us. We do no paid advertising for this show. So, all of the wonderful word of mouth that you guys are doing for us is the only way that we get, more viewers and the ability to actually talk to more people. So please, if you can, share the show, talk to a friend. We will cover, if you want us to cover a specific topic, let us know. We will be happy to help cover it on there. Send us your questions on YouTube, on Twitter. Hoover is bad, all one word. The Mallo Man, all one word. No W. Magical_podcast is our Twitter handle for the show. The podcast is recorded here in Seattle. It's a production of Super Magical Fun Time and Humanoid Games. Our executive producer is Alligator Pete. Our benevolent overlord is Grandpa Joe. If you have a comment or question for the show, like I said, leave it to us on Facebook or Twitter. You can search Super Magical Fun Time. We're like everywhere, so just come talk to us. We want to hear from you guys.
We're at that sweet part, that sweet spot where we are still very accessible.
Yes.
So hit us up. We will respond pretty quickly to you.
Yeah.
We're there. We're ready to talk.
Yep. We're like MasterCard. We're everywhere you want to be.
Everywhere you want to be. Cease and desist. Hello.
Hello.
That was fast.
Well, and if they don't cease and desist us, we will see you all next week. Thanks, y'all.
Welcome to 2017.